Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having a great day. As always, leaving a like, leaving a comment, or subscribing helps out the channel immensely. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. A widely followed crypto analyst says that Bitcoin could land somewhere between 40,000 and 50,000 in the coming months. Welcome back to Everybody Thinks Bitcoin is About to Do Something Crazy news. Over the last few months, we have had just an egregious amount of price predictions for the cryptocurrency market. I know this is going to sound crazy, but it basically has to do with the halving. What? That's crazy, right? Yeah, no one could have actually predicted that. We've had news over the past few weeks. There are a large number of people, you've seen it, it's been in the news, who think that by the end of this year, some of them think that Bitcoin will already have surpassed or will just roughly be at its previous all-time high of near $70,000 per Bitcoin. A lot of people are expecting or believe that the previous bull run in 2021 was not done or ended relatively early because of the state of the world at the time. And as it appears that a large portion of that has gone with the wind. I couldn't figure out what to say there. That the next one is going to be... It sounds weird. I thought about it and then I was like, do I say those words? Basically, the pent-up energy will be released within the next bull run. And this is why we're getting continuously these predictions of a $15,000, $16,000 Ether, a $200,000, $300,000 Bitcoin. You've definitely seen people talking about the $8 XRP by the end of this year, the $16 XRP over the course of next year as well. You've heard about him before. He keeps getting more and more popular. His name is Plan B. Originally very popular during the 2017, 18, 19, and beginning of 2020 timeframe, where he had a bunch of charts that kind of were more or less completely accurate. By the time we got to 2020, his charts didn't pan out that well, and I would logically, hear me out here, I would logically say it's because of the world events. His chart was not, and did not account for, the activities of the world at the time, because I think his chart said that we should have gotten to, I think, a $150,000 to a $180,000 Bitcoin. And when that did not happen, a lot of people counted him out. But recently, he's been back heavily in the news, heavily again on Twitter as well, because his charts look correct. He has like a really weird system where there's like red dots and blue dots and green dots and yellow dots, and it shows when things are supposed to happen, how high or low the price is supposed to be relative to the market cycles that he has priced in with the stock to flow chart. That is to say, it doesn't even matter. It's just a chart that he has. And now that we are moving into the next Bitcoin halving, his charts are showing the same colors again, as in like the beginning of the bull run for the 2024-2025 time period. And of course, a lot of people are very, very excited once again. It says the halving is an event, okay, where Bitcoin's block rewards are cut in half. I didn't know that, which happens about every 4 years. What? Plan B said the big question is, what will the price of Bitcoin be at the 2024 April halving? It was believed that Bitcoin's halving was going to be in the middle of May, maybe the end of May, and then we got the beginning of May, and now we're getting sometime in April of next year, Bitcoin's reward will be cut in half. He said we can try and estimate that from only this 200-week moving average. The 200-week moving average increases currently at about $500 a month. So 9 times 500 will be $4,500. And Bitcoin's 200-week moving average right now is a little under $28,000. So he said $28,000 plus $4,000 is roughly around $32,000 for the 200-week moving average at the halving approximately. He said Bitcoin would be above that, and usually it would be 50% above that, which would indicate a range of Bitcoin at the halving of around $40,000 to $50,000 per Bitcoin. We are currently in this tornado of price predictions, which I really don't mind, because I think, this is me personally, I think price predictions are very, in a way, if they're not too excessive, I believe they are healthy for the market because they serve as a reminder of what is coming when we actually have the mega crazy, super ultra euphoric bull run. For whatever reason, a lot of people do get, the word's not discouraged. I think a lot of people do forget quite easily that the bull run is coming, that market cycles do exist. I saw recently on Instagram. On Instagram, I'm mainly following like comic books, art, sometimes like Pokemon cards. They keep popping up. I click on them. The algorithm's like, oh, he loves this. So they keep showing me like how much a Charizard or whatever has recently sold for. But a lot of other asset classes, the prices are down right now. Like there was recently the first appearance of Miles Morales in a 9.8 in the 1 in 25 variant cover, sold for less than it ever has. And I'm like, you know that all world markets are down right now. Like this is, it's like people just seemingly forget. There was something recently for one of like the old master painters, like Matisse, Picasso, like these kind of people. I think there's also like sold right on par with what the estimate was. So sometimes the estimate will say like 1.5 million. Like usually it'll sell for 4.7. It makes the news. Everyone's like, oh my gosh, a brand new all-time high. But it still sold for more than it had ever sold before. But it wasn't as dramatically high. And everyone's like, is something wrong with the art market? And I'm like, that market cycles are a thing, right? Like market cycles have always been a fabric of every single market that we have out there. Anyway, so as always, it's nice to see the optimism in the market as opposed to people just really being sad. Over the last 2 or 3 weeks, everyone apparently is under the idea that cryptocurrency prices are about to go ripping and roaring. I would personally say, hold on to your horses, hold your hat, hold your macaroni. Why do we only have hats and horses? What else can people hold out there? Hold on to your crypto. I don't know. Because I assume with the interest rate hikes that we are going to get, and also the never-ending street fight that is in inflation at the moment, I expect prices will continue to, my opinion, trend sideways. And I say this, I make sure to remind people, whenever cryptocurrency prices go completely insane, whenever Bitcoin is past its previous all-time high, a lot of people seem to have weird feelings for the market. Whenever the prices go back down, all the people who were talking about that they wanted to buy when the prices were too high, I hope you're buying. That's all I can say. We're at one of those moments right now where the prices are just going sideways. You might remember back in good old 2019, 2020, a lot of my videos, I was like, why aren't the prices moving? Why are they going completely sideways? We keep getting good news every single day. I'm not sure what's happening. And then you realize it's basically because people are accumulating, and a lot of people know how to not make any waves at all as they're buying up massive amounts of crypto. So if you are one of those people who didn't like when the price was too high because you wished you had bought more when the prices were lower, guess what? They're a lot lower than they were before. So, that's the plan B is prominently back in the news again with his Bitcoin price predictions. I wouldn't be mad. I think that'd be like a nice little Christmas gift if we got to like $43,000 per Bitcoin by like Christmas time. Around like March, April, we got to 53,000 and then everything kind of went bazooka bananas from there. That'd be kind of nice. That's the optimism in the market news. And yeah, let's move on. Also in what was really popular news, and it's not that it shouldn't be popular, it's more of a, well, yeah, this is definitely happened before news. Fortune magazine has recently included Ripple, the company. It says the San Francisco-based cross-border payments firm, that's a very long sentence, in its esteemed, list of top 100 best workplaces for millennials in 2023. The response to this recognition, Ripple expressed its excitement and gratitude through a tweet. The firm acknowledged Fortune magazine and stated, "We are honored to be recognized by Fortune magazine in their roundup of the top 100 best workplaces for millennials in 2023. Thank you for the recognition." I saw a lot of people, and I have been seeing a lot of people announcing this, backing it up. This is great news, period. There should be nothing said on top of that. This is absolutely incredible news that a company within the cryptocurrency space has been recognized as not being a toxic place for people to work. Of all the companies that we have on the planet and within the United States, to make the top 100 list for Fortune is incredible. We can all agree on that. The other side of it is, and it's not a bad side at all, it's more that I'm seeing a lot of people finally recognizing that Ripple is in the news all the time, and they think that it's because of the lawsuit win. That is to say, for years now, Ripple has been doing well. They've moved into parts of Africa. For those of you who missed that video, XRP is currently being used by, I think, 15, that is 15 different African countries for cross-border remittances. They're being used in Southeast Asia. They're being used in Europe. They're being used in many parts of Latin America, and also cross-border payments between there and also Southeast Asia as well. They're trying to expand further into Europe, into Ireland, into the UK, you name it. They've been doing well for a while. However, any news that they got before about how good that they were doing was simply absorbed into the void, as if the SEC lawsuit was the most terrible, egregious thing in the entire world. And I kept on telling you they were always in the news, and therefore they're going to continue to do well. However, since the lawsuit has neared its conclusion, Ripple has won the Nano security thing. People are now posting these news stories like, well, this clearly must be happening because of the Fortune recognizing that Ripple is amazing after the SEC lawsuit. It's like, no, they've been doing this for quite a while. And I remembered it immediately. This is an article from 2022, last year. Fortune named Ripple as one of the best places to work. Yeah, they've been doing that for a while. Apparently, Ripple is actually not that bad as a company. People like working there, and they constantly score very high when it comes to places that people want to work or are continuously working at and don't want to get fired from because they like the environment. So it has nothing to do with the fact that they won or whatever the lawsuit between them and the SEC. Ripple apparently has been a good company for a very long time. But it's now only being recognized because how prominently that they are in the news after the SEC lawsuit. Very weird. Very, the cryptocurrency space is so odd. Like, when I go over news every single day, and I'm shocked. When I was younger, I thought That's a shame. I couldn't remember the word memory. I thought my memory was absolutely terrible, but I guess going over the news every single day, like I remember all the old news stories. So whenever something comes up and they're like, what? This is the first time ever. How did Ripple do that? No, they've been doing that consistently for a number of years. There's a reason why we keep getting news that Ripple is working with a number of other countries and governments. Did you miss it? Like a couple of weeks ago, before the ruling even came out, they're working with a number of other countries to help them build their central bank digital currencies. And the idea is they're doing tests now on top of the XRP ledger. Ripple's been doing just fine. It's just that now, you know, people within the US are like, what? This is amazing. And it's like, no, they've been doing just fine for a number of years. Anyway, that's the Fortune magazine has said that Ripple is one of the top 100 best workplaces for millennials. Very specific, but sure, why not? And yeah, let's move on. So you know how like sometimes news comes out and then like we miss it and then like everyone else missed it as well. This is a wild photo. It's a photo of a guy riding the Ethereum logo, like flying through space. If you're not looking at the screen, it is a guy in what I can assume are supposed to be khakis and a very loose fitting work shirt, on top of a purple Ethereum 3D icon. And he's flying like he's going to the Megazord. I'm not sure exactly what's happening there. Bringing it on back. This is actually major news, and I was a little confused as to why it's not anywhere else. Because I even just mentioned this yesterday. I was like, what's the haps? What's going on? And apparently something happened and no one talked about it. Like literally, this was the only place I could find this news. Apparently, it says the much anticipated Quantum Leap, it's called Quantum Leap, upgrade by layer 2 scaling protocol Starknet was recently developed on Ethereum's mainnet. Like on the actual main chain, what's been happening is that a lot of upgrades have been happening for Ethereum, but they've been on layer 2 solutions, or they've been on side chains or federated side chains or rollups. They've been on all these other things that at some point, the finality of the transaction gets broadcasted to the main net, but they're never on the actual main net. This upgrade, Quantum Leap, was actually put on the main net. It says allowing for as many as 90 transactions per second, boosting the network speed. Why is this significant? Someone tell me. Because Ethereum has for a very long time only been capable of 13 to 15 transactions per second. 15 was the maximum per second. We've been hearing, especially since the beginning of this year, that this was going to be a gigantic, monumental time for Ethereum in that they would be upgrading the actual main chain. The idea is, and has been for a while, that Ethereum will eventually be able to handle thousands of transactions per second on its own. That's not this is before Polygon, before the roll-ups, before zero knowledge anything, just the main chain. I know it may not, I know someone is scoffing or like, it's not that impressive. This is the most used chain on the planet. And this has historically been one of the slowest chains out there. 13 to 15 transactions per second for being the most used chain on the planet is absolutely insane. Getting to 90 transactions per second, that's absolutely incredible. And I wish we actually had that a number of years ago. Here's the tweet for it right here. A bit of a interesting tweet. It says more Oh, wow. Okay, now that I even read it out in my head. It says more transactions per second. Daddy Starknet, mainnet quantum leap. Yeah, read that how you will, because I think that's supposed to be read in a different inflection. In an announcement sent to Cointelegraph, Yuri Kolodny, the co-founder and CEO of Starkware, said it's a momentous day for the Ethereum blockchain as the scaling ceiling has been smashed. He explained that the high transactions per second is finally a reality on the Ethereum mainnet, adding, "We said this upgrade would deliver potential transactions per second of hundreds within Q3, and only hoped from the stress test to check we are on target. A few dozen transactions per second at this early point would have left us excited, but we got more than we bargained for." Is this right here? Yeah. So I found you can easily type it in, Ethereum transactions per second, and they have like a list of how many transactions per second all the networks on top of Bitcoin are doing. Number 4 on the actual list, I don't know why it's number 4. It says Ethereum is currently doing 24 transactions per second. The max recorded is 56. I know someone doesn't understand how this is actually exciting. This is insane. For a long time, 12 to 15 transactions per second limit. The idea has been that once we have 2.0, which we do right now, that we will, so saith Vitalik, get to 10, 20, 50 to 100,000 transactions per second. I had assumed that any type of logically good news about a major coin would have made headlines because it's a gigantic major coin, and I thought people would have been a little bit more excited. But yeah, this now officially just on the main chain puts Ethereum on par with a number of other larger coins, a lot of other larger altcoins that people for some reason love. And I've asked before, why do people love these other altcoins? There are far too many to name. You know what you're holding in your crypto wallet. Why people like them, and people have always said it's because it's faster than Bitcoin, it's faster than Ethereum. Are you now going to switch to Ether now that this is the most used blockchain and it does as many transactions per second as the other coin that you're holding? Interesting, right? This is real. Ethereum's main chain has had an upgrade. It is called Quantum Leap by the people from Starknet. I thought this would have been more popular. It was not. And without an ado that is further, let's move on. Also what? That's crazy. I can't understand what's happening anymore. A dormant Bitcoin wallet holding over 1,037 Bitcoin, worth roughly around $30 million at current prices, has suddenly started moving. After 11 years of not moving, and all 1,000 Bitcoin moved at the exact same time. Years ago, one of the major talking points, ideas of Bitcoin was that it's your money and you can do with it how you so please. This is a normal mantra. A lot of people within the cryptocurrency space believe this because it's just how the space kind of evolved. However, at some point, a number of other companies or accounts on Twitter called whale watchers began to look for large movements of money within the Bitcoin space. That is to say, someone just moved $112 million worth of Bitcoin. Years ago, these accounts, I believed, and I still do, were meant to kind of scare people. How? Well, you tell people that a large amount of Bitcoin is on the move. The idea is that, why are you moving your crypto? If you're moving your crypto, you must be moving it to a cryptocurrency exchange. Why would you be moving it to a cryptocurrency exchange? Because you're trying to sell your coins. Why are you trying to sell your coins? Because you're rich, you know more than me, and therefore you're trying to get out of the market. It sounds nonsensical because it is. A lot of people do believe, and this is also something quite psychological that people need to break out of, is the idea that because someone has more money than you, that they are smarter than you. It's usually the exact opposite. That's why a lot of times you see if Elon Musk does something, Dogecoin moves. The idea is that he's so rich and wealthy, if he's doing something, everyone else has to mimic it as well. This is also shown with Warren Buffett. Anything that Warren Buffett does with his stock portfolio, there are tons of people around the world who follow him. Why? He's richer, therefore perceived as smarter, and therefore people follow his moves regardless of if he's losing money or not. The idea is that even when he's losing money, he's smart enough to lose the money. I lost some money and therefore the market will go back up because he's putting his money in the right places. People don't really live in reality. We're in one gigantic long episode of Black Mirror. So whenever the news does pop up, this was actually one of the more popular news stories that were floating out there. Whenever a news story like this does pop up, the intended idea, from my perception of having been in this market for 95 years, is that people are trying to scare other people. When you have a news story that someone is moving their own money through the network after having not done so for 11 years, the initial reaction that they want you to have is fear. Why would this person be moving all $30 million at the exact same time? Why not a tenth of it? Why not move it at all? Bitcoin's going to $1 million. Why would I be moving my money? Riddle me this. Let's say you, listening to this right now, you don't have a job, or maybe you do have a job. You have an apartment. It's okay. You're living comfortably, but it's not as great as you want it to be. You're sitting on your couch and at some point you go, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And you run into your room, you dig into an old box and you see this computer that's from like 1922. You dust it off, you open it up, it's still working. You're like, oh my gosh, this is still working. You look over in the corner and you see the original Bitcoin wallet and you're like, holy crap. You double click on it and you go, did I have any Bitcoin? I remember I had some. Did I give it away? I don't remember. And on the screen pops up, you have 1,037 Bitcoin. You yourself are a true Bitcoin believer. You've been in the market for a good couple of years. You forgot that you had this. Now, you believe that Bitcoin at some point is definitely going to $1 million. However, looking around at your apartment, you could really use $30 million right now. Do you A, close the laptop and wait for 10 more years? Do you B, sell only like 5 Bitcoin and go, you know what, I'm going to save the rest for later? Or do you do as many human beings would do and move your $31 million to a crypto exchange or decide to sell it? I know a lot of you are shaking your head up and down now because the prospect of getting $31 million, not many people would be saying no to that. The other really interesting part is that a lot of the whale news usually turns out to be something along the lines of someone is moving such a large amount of Bitcoin, it's going to have an effect on the price. Do you know why we talk about liquidity so much, or what the idea of liquidity is? It is so that your market is liquid. It's always moving like a gigantic stream or a river or a lake. I don't know which one is moving more, but imagine like a huge rush of water. Imagine you and all your neighbors are like, oh my gosh, I'm thirsty. And all 500 of you, I don't know why 500, it sounds nice, take a cup and you all get your cup filled. You go back 9 years later and you try to get some water and you all get a drop and you're like, oh wait, this water isn't liquid at all. The big difference is that when it's hyper liquid and you all take a cup of water, you've done nothing to the movement of the supply of water. If you all take a cup, 500 of you, and you get a drop of water and then no more comes down, that market, that water is no longer in essence liquid. You've stopped it from moving down the stream where it would have naturally gone. Same exact thing is applied to financial markets. Same exact thing with Bitcoin. When you talk about that Bitcoin has a market cap of, I don't know what it is. It's several billion, hundreds of billions of dollars. I don't know what the exact number is at the moment. This is very strong. You want a market that is that big. When you talk about that Bitcoin's market cap at some point is over $1 trillion, and on a daily basis, you have hundreds of billions of dollars flowing through it, and you decide to cash out $30 million, guess what that's not going to do to Bitcoin? It's not going to move the price. Why? Because 30 million is less than 300 million. 300 million is less than a billion. A billion is less than 300 billion. 300 billion is less than $1 trillion. See, that's the drop in the bucket or the cup that we were just talking about. A lot of whale news over the last couple of years, and I there's no one I can complain to. There is no HR within the cryptocurrency space because these people release this news not as like, oh wow, this is something cool that's happening, but it's like, where is this money going? Is this person about to cash out? Why are they moving such a large amount at one time? What happens if they can't? Nothing. All that's going to happen if they cash out this money is that whales will see it and they'll absorb those coins nearly instantaneously because they'll be like, who was that person who decided to move their money and then sell it at a lower price? So yeah, very popular news. I understand why this makes the popular news within the cryptocurrency space, but it's more of a, I think we need to go back to normalizing the idea that people can and should and can move their Bitcoin and their crypto as they so please. I wonder if the person who runs a large portion of these whale report news stories, if they would write a news story on themselves if they decided to cash out or move 30 million US dollars worth of Bitcoin. Probably not. It probably would not even make the news because, you know, they would have made $30 million. So yeah, that's the whale transfer news. This happens, say, every third or fourth day. This is why if you have a Twitter, you have definitely seen Changpeng Zhao has to constantly go onto Twitter and tell people that the people from Binance are moving coins from one wallet to another, that it's not them liquidating their coins, they're not getting so and so and so, or they're not transferring it to another crypto exchange. I don't think you understand exactly how big Binance and Coinbase are. Not only have we knowledge and proof that these crypto exchanges are buying and holding and mining cryptocurrencies and not trying to sell them, but also if they were trying to sell their coins, they would do it over the counter and not on a crypto exchange so that you would never see that the transaction was actually happening. I need people to read more. I need people to do more research and understand how finance, especially gigantic finance, actually works. And it's not this like really random, like Changpeng Zhao is not selling $15 worth of Bitcoin on Binance. I don't know if people know that. That's the whale news. We're going to get more. It's usually meant to be scary, and it's not at all. The market will absorb it immediately, and then those coins will be purchased probably over the counter by someone else because that's how people who are rich buy crypto. Yeah. Let's move on. As always, even despite the new transactions per second, it said Ethereum still has 75, what was it, 75? 75,000 unconfirmed transactions. That's a lot. As always, a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters, Jim. Long name. American Crypto Academy, Bodie McBoatface, Sam Ratter, Dotha Diddy, Mandy Cryptos, Crypto Gambino, Auspicious Agile and Blockchain, Jamie Saad, and let's move on. Empire Queen, Roman Gaba, Bitcoin Ben Arachno, Dave the Dealers, Den Captain Summing in the Z-Way, Lay Mobarazi, VB Nerd 21, Lauren De Silva, Quoted Biddy, Troy Allgood, Space Case, Need a Miracle, Paternoster, Navarro Williams, Utopia 569, Moonman High, XRP, Nostromo, John Sarsen, The Anima Reader, Bibliophobia, Adam Graysick, Wise Night Owl, 242 to the World, Bankroll Network, Crypto Artist, Coley 3D, Setsuna, Paxis, Jim Gardner, Jeremy Fox, Minting Coins, Yester Crypto, Anytime Fitness, Monk's Corner Staff, Bake Me a Cake, Tigger, Macho Nisa, and on Crypto with Lionel. Thank you all very, very much for your continued support. Thank you to everyone who is a member of the channel. Thank you to everyone who has left a like, who has commented, or who has subscribed. I do hope that you have all enjoyed. I do hope that you all are having a great day, great morning, great afternoon, or great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, liking, commenting, and or supporting. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.